I'm Duncan Lievi, and this is Clash of Champions 2020 preview and predictions. So far this year, my predictions have gone 21 out of 29. I hope to continue this rather impressive trend, if I might say so myself. How the predictions work is that I give two. The first is what I hope to see happen, essentially fantasy booking, followed by what I think will happen, which is the official prediction, which counts. Now, the match card. Raw Women's Champion Asuka defending against Zelina Vega. The Lucha House Party challenging SmackDown Tag Team Champions Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. United States Champion Bobby Lashley against Apollo Crews. Payback 2020 rematch. SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley taking on Nikki Cross. Raw Tag Team Champion Street Profits taking on Andrade and Garza. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, the Women's Tag Team Champions, defending against the Riott Squad. Intercontinental Champion Jeff Hardy defending against AJ Styles and Sami Zayn in a ladder match. Universal Champion Roman Reigns taking on his cousin Jey Uso. In what will be probably the main event, Drew McIntyre, the WWE Champion, will take on Randy Orton in an ambulance match. Now, matches one by one. First off, we have Asuka and Zelina Vega. Who's going to win? Asuka's going to win. Why? Because Zelina has been in the picture for 2 weeks, I think, in the championship picture, and she beat Mickie James, and then Mickie James was going to be vying for her final chance at the Raw Tag Team Championship, and then she lost to Zelina Vega. I'm not sure why. Maybe there's a real injury that she has and that has not been disclosed. Either way, Zelina Vega is not going to win because Asuka, after beating Sasha Banks for this championship, is probably primed to have a very decent run with this. And what is happening right now is essentially a trial run for Zelina Vega to see if she can hang with Asuka in the ring, so that moving forward, Vega can be both a mouthpiece and then she can also compete more frequently. Now, Lucha House Party taking on Cesaro and Nakamura. For far too many times it's happened that teams have been teasing a breakup and then it happens and then nothing comes of it. So, in case of Lucha House Party, they've been bottom feeders in the sense that they don't win anything, but it's still a rather long-running team. If they do break up, because there's been dissension between Kalisto and Lince Dorado, I hope that becomes a story in itself, so that at least one of them can rise above the ranks, or even two if we're very, very lucky. I don't just want them to lose and then to go their separate ways into obscurity. Either way, I'm going to pick Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro to retain. That is both what I want to see happen and what I think will happen. U.S. Champion Bobby Lashley taking on Apollo Crews. There is no reason for Bobby Lashley to lose. They're booking Lashley to be the centerpiece, the most dominant member of the Hurt Business, and it has been done very well so far. So there's no reason for Apollo Crews to win this. His 15 minutes of fame has ended. And there is no reason for Lashley to lose his championship anytime soon, because the Hurt Business is on the up. So, official prediction, Lashley, what I hope to see happen, Lashley. So far it's just both have been in line. No WWEing everything so far. Now we have Bayley taking on Nikki Cross. In terms of booking, this is a very interesting match, because Bayley has her sights set on Sasha Banks. Obviously, she attacked Sasha Banks, and the Golden Role Models were split up as a result. Finally, it had been teased for so long, it was about time. The right time to pull the trigger in my eyes. Then, on the other hand, you have Nikki Cross, who's trying to keep Alexa Bliss from turning completely twisted and being possessed by the Fiend, the Sister Abigail storyline that has been happening. That said, if you look at the match from a very practical perspective, there's no reason for Bayley to lose the championship. She's the linear champion. She's been champion for almost a year, or more than a year, I think. And it would only make sense for that reign to end in a very monumental moment at the end of a very well-defined storyline. And that is obviously the one with Sasha Banks. So this is just not the right time for Nikki Cross to lose this championship, even though I believe they could have had someone else take the loss in this case. Even though it's fine, Alexa Bliss gets to make an appearance. I just wish that Nikki Cross was not going to have two championship match losses next to her name to begin her main roster run. Either way. Singles main roster championship run. Either way, what I think should happen, Bayley should win, and what I think will happen, Bayley will win. Street Profits against Andrade and Angel Garza. It's just happened way too many times since before WrestleMania, so it does not make sense for this program to keep going. It just reflects how shallow the tag team division is on both Raw and SmackDown. In the previous few weeks, we had Nakamura and Cesaro come over to Raw to lose to the Street Profits, and then now we have Andrade and Garza taking on the Street Profits yet again. What should happen, no matter what transpires, they should not face each other for at least 6 months. That is also unlikely, but that's what I think. What will happen, what I want to see happen, is that Andrade and Garza get the championship. And what I think, well, I'm not sure what exactly will happen. This is the most I don't care sort of match. But I'm going to go with official prediction is Andrade and Garza win the championship. And if they don't, they should have a one-on-one feud moving forward. A very heated rivalry for 3 pay-per-views, because they are that caliber of superstars that they can have great matches, and they deserve a trilogy if they do split up for good after this and they don't win the championship. Even though I hope that they do, because otherwise what are they doing? They're just placeholders in the tag team division, even after they broke up last week. Or they didn't. Anyway, then we have Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defending against the Riott Squad. What I think should happen, well, it's another case of whom do you want to take away less from? Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler have only been champions for, I think, a month, and they've been booked really well. They have a very interesting chemistry when it comes to promos. Riott Squad has recently reunited, so you can't just defeat them in the first instance that they have a chance to shine. I want to see the Riott Squad win, and I think they will win, even though there's just no logic in the tag team division, even on the women's side. They need more tag teams, and they don't even have the option of unifying any belts because there is only the one belt on the women's side. They just need better storylines, and they need more established teams, which Jax and Baszler just isn't. So in that sense, it'll be good if they lose and then they go their separate ways. That said, then we have probably the best booked match. It's debatable, but I think it is. Hardy versus Styles versus Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is the one who left the WWE with his championship, so he was stripped of the championship, and then AJ Styles won a tournament in Zayn's absence. Jeff Hardy had something to say about that, and he beat AJ Styles for it. So Styles is essentially getting a rematch, and Zayn is arguing that he never lost his championship, so he should be the rightful champion. Thus, the 3 of them have rather legitimate claims to this championship. The official champion still is Jeff Hardy, and no matter what happens in this match, the best part is that it is a ladder match, and it stars Jeff Hardy. Contrary to history, I would like this to be one of the cases where Jeff Hardy actually wins a ladder match, because he is the master of the ladder match, just like Edge and Matt Hardy and the Dudley Boys, Christian. But Jeff Hardy, case in point, SummerSlam 2009, Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk. Jeff Hardy lost that match. He's lost against Edge, I think, as well. Just Jeff Hardy keeps losing a lot of ladder matches and Money in the Bank matches too. So I just want him to win his match, just like Edge used to win his TLC matches, and Undertaker used to win, even though he lost quite a bit in the middle. But Undertaker used to win a lot of Hell in a Cell matches, Triple H won Elimination Chamber matches. So all of this, I just want Hardy to get the win for that reason as well. Conventional wisdom, WWE's 50-50 booking, in this case 33-33-33 booking, would dictate that Hardy wins, because on the go-home show of SmackDown, they actually booked a triple threat match of these 3, surprisingly, as a preview of the ladder match. I mean, how much sense does it make to give the match on the pay-per-view on free television just a couple days before the pay-per-view? I don't know. But in this case, they did book it rather sensibly, or I'd say they did the best that they could, in the sense that you had who win. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Yeah, Styles beat up Zayn, but Zayn won the match. So Hardy was the one who was on the sidelines, which dictates that at the event itself, you would have Hardy win. So for those reasons, I think Jeff Hardy will win. What I want to see happen is a swerve. I want Sami Zayn to win the championship because he's annoying, and then whoever beats Zayn will be, for me, in a good position to have a babyface run moving forward. So, official prediction is still Jeff Hardy. Now, the two main events, the two championship matches. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. So, I have gripes with how Reigns won the championship at the expense of The Fiend. Thankfully, The Fiend did not take the pinfall loss, and it was Braun Strowman. But ever since then, Roman Reigns has been booked as he should have been ever since his face turn started getting completely dismantled by the fans and critiqued by everybody negatively. But better late than never. And Paul Heyman is on his side. That's great. All of those things have been fantastic. Now, my main concern with this entire program is that this is too good. And that is a good problem to have. But I'm a little concerned about Jey Uso. If you saw the most recent episode of SmackDown where Jey Uso and Roman Reigns had that confrontation in the ring, Roman Reigns got a very good promo, very silent and very harsh to Jey, but truth serum promo, which, he's just said, I'll put the food on the plate for our entire family, you don't have what it takes, all of those things. But what was the most surprising is that Jey Uso had a very impassionate promo. Very, very intense, and it did not seem like he was reading off a script. It was heartfelt. It seemed that he meant every word. He said that Roman Reigns has been booked as Mr. Main Event, Mr. WrestleMania, the champion, all of those things. He's been the guy. And Jey Uso has been subjected to questions from fans on the lines of, which one are you? As in, which Uso are you? Because you're one of the twins. The way he said it and the energy behind that promo gives me the feeling that Jey Uso is capable of so much more, and it's finally his chance at the big time. But the timing is so bad. You cannot have Roman Reigns lose this match because you're still establishing his accolades in the sense that he's a heel who needs to win to establish his heel persona. It's not his first... it is his first real trial in the ring after his character has changed. Which is just me saying I know Roman Reigns is going to win. It's not a question of if he is going to win. I think he will win. I want him to win as well. But Jey Uso, the story is so complex and so well told. Some of the best program booking of the entire year. But at the same time, what I am sad about is that they use all this family drama or family background to the story for one match with an obvious outcome. If you look at the booking of this match and the video packages that they've produced with the predictions coming from family members and an established history of superstars competing for the WWE, with all of that, it has all the makings of an actual landmark rivalry lasting or spanning a lot of months, and that just cannot happen right now because I think they're going to pull the trigger on The Fiend versus Roman Reigns afterwards, considering that Alexa Bliss, under the possession of The Fiend, was looking at Roman Reigns hoisting the title at the entrance ramp on SmackDown. So that was a nice little tease. It was very good. It was very well booked, of course, as well. But it's just unfortunate. I hope what happens in the future, provided Roman Reigns has the title, and even if not, if you want him to have an actual meaty feud, something that can be fleshed out for a significant amount of time, with great storytelling possibilities, is that Jimmy Uso comes back, and he's also thrust into the main event, or put in opposition to Roman, even though the speculation is they're going to all be part of this faction called the Bloodline. I don't know. But I really want this story to continue in some form or fashion. Maybe Jey Uso gets another championship opportunity against Roman Reigns, because I think this is the best opponent for Jey to shine in a singles capacity. So we'll see if that happens. As an aside, I would also have to say that I want more rivalries which last longer than just a couple matches. I realize that we live in a time where attention spans are very short, but at the same time, I want matches that mean more than just one blowout match or two maximum. It just makes more sense to plan a story. It gives a person something to do, something to look forward to for a significant amount of time. And as I say this, I realize that Orton McIntyre, Rollins versus the Mysterios are examples of such stories, but I want more of those, because before Orton McIntyre had rolled through Rollins, Big Show, Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley with no follow-up, with no great story, with no real heat between the two superstars. And Orton McIntyre did, but that was because of McIntyre's real-life issues with Orton, maybe, and so there was history behind that. But even in that example, and I know I'm rambling a little, but even in that example, Orton and McIntyre had this heated exchange of, Orton does not put in his best all the time, and he should have been fired years ago, but he didn't because he's Randy Orton, and Drew McIntyre was fired because he's not a third-generation superstar, didn't have name value, and he had to crawl and get to the top on the back of his effort and all that. So I want those story beats to be exposed, or to be that part of the story to be told later on in the story, because now your build-up is based on finishers. And that is a good segue for me to go on to the main event. Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Champion going into this match, Drew McIntyre. I'm not a fan of the build-up to this match, because it has happened at the expense of Keith Lee. Even though Keith Lee beat Orton, but it doesn't mean anything. You know? He'll always have that notch in his belt, but it does not mean anything. Orton is still Randy Orton, and Keith Lee has been winning most of his matches, but they're DQ, so no one really gives a shit, you know? Either way. So, then we have, in this match, we have the ambulance stipulation, which is supposed to be the best way to get the title off McIntyre while protecting McIntyre. So Orton wins the title, and with some shenanigans, there's a likelihood of someone interfering. This is my fantasy booking for this match, which might not happen, which won't happen. Something of this sort might happen, but not exactly this. What is it? McIntyre and Orton are near the ambulance, and either Retribution interferes or Brock Lesnar interferes, but more likely Keith Lee interferes. And instead of going after Orton, because Orton punted Keith Lee, Lee costs McIntyre the match. So moving forward, you have McIntyre versus Keith Lee, a proper rivalry, okay, which focuses more on their friendship before and how it has been jeopardized in front of our eyes. So recent conflict resulting in the program they could have for a couple months, leading into maybe a Survivor Series. That gives both of them something important and something credible to do for the next few months. And another part of that rivalry of this match would be that after Orton wins, if Edge is ready to return, even if he isn't, after Orton wins the title, you have Edge come out and give him a spear and disappear. I know it makes little sense to do if Edge is not ready to return, but what I'm suggesting gives you clear pathways for both Orton and McIntyre moving forward. And it also gives Keith Lee an opportunity to gain some of his lost momentum back. The momentum he had once he debuted on the main roster can still be salvaged. That's what I want to see happen. Official prediction is Orton, even though I'm not sure. My official prediction is Orton. What do I want to see happen? Orton. Because it's about time. So, we'll see how I fare this time. This has been Duncan Lievi, and please feel free to leave your predictions in the comment section below. And also, what about the tag team division on both Raw and SmackDown, men and women? What is up with Zelina Vega's clients, Andrade and Garza, Iconics, Bliss Cross, the Golden Role Models, Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, Ivar and Eric, Authors of Pain, Lucha House Party, seemingly New Day now, the Usos. what I've just mentioned are tag teams that have either disappeared from television, have been broken up, or we thought they had broken up and they're back together again. It's just very uncertain what is going on. It's just rather annoying. Anyway, with that said, until next time, this has been Duncan Lievi. Thank you for watching.